Hey, welcome to the Road to Black podcast. Wes, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are
Good.
you?
Good. For new listeners, my name's Paul Manganaro. I train here at Gustavo Dantes Jiu-Jitsu in Tempe, Arizona. I'm located in Tempe, and my co-host is Wesley Reed.
Yep.
Wes,
I'm out
tell
in
me where you're at.
Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah. No, I met out in northern Colorado. Got a lot of different irons in the fire. Both of us do. So,
Yeah.
Training in a little studio here in my home office with a good group of guys. Doing drop-ins now, kind of all over the place. Still affiliated with a team down in Arizona. Paul and I were training partners for pretty significant amount of time, and I moved about a year ago during when COVID first kind of hit and everything shut down. I moved up here to Colorado, and so still remotely affiliated with my team there, and running a business, running a little training group, doing drop-ins.
Nice.
And just kind of getting mine wherever I got to go to get it. So
That's what you got to do.
that's what you got to do. Yeah.
It's been a year, man. It's been
Dude,
a year
it's
since we
crazy.
started talking about this. Wes and I are both brown belts. We're both on the road to black. We've been friends for several years now, and as COVID hit, I think we kind of connected through just talking on the phone. And I think it was like when we first started really talking, it was when you had just figured out that you were moving.
Yeah.
I think you were still here,
No, I
or
had
you had just moved.
I had just moved.
Just
I
moved.
had just moved.
Which
'cause
was
I
a shock. That was a shock to me because I hadn't talked to you in a couple months because of COVID.
Yeah.
And we were out of touch. And then we chatted, and you were like, I was like, how's this? This is crazy, right? And he's like, well, you don't even know the half of it.
Yeah. I
You
was
had to-
actually, that phone call, I was living in my in-laws' basement.
Yeah,
At
I
the
remember that.
moment.
Yeah.
And it was stressful because it was like COVID hits, everything shuts down. We get told we have to relocate and we have to be up here and like lickety split. And
Yeah.
we are didn't quite expect that to happen. And so we were had to sell a house in a pandemic. We bought a house in the middle of a pandemic, and I was living in my in-laws' basement at the moment. And we kind of connected and was like, man, how crazy is everything? And then told you that I had moved, and it was like, oh man, it was rough.
A lot of sacrifice. You must really love your wife.
Yeah, we didn't have a choice. It was like, for her profession.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, it was you got to kind of take the job and take it where it's at, right? I mean,
Yeah, so the way that it works for her profession is there's this thing called the match. Everybody who's vying for these jobs in their residencies, they interview all over the place. They submit a rank list. The interview sites, they submit their rank list, and they both go into some computer algorithm, and the algorithm just spits out every medical student in the U.S. plus international graduates that want to match here in the U.S. spits out this long list of where everybody's going to go, and we landed here. So completely unexpected news, and
you both had former ties there, correct?
yeah,
In
both
the area.
In the area, yeah. I lived up here. I started jiu-jitsu at a school one town over. But I only trained here for a couple years. I moved down to Denver, was there for about 6 years. Moved down to Arizona, was there for about 5 years, about 5 years. And now we're back here, so
Unfortunately.
it happens, So we'll,
Just got to ride it out until you get back to the heat,
yeah, I
if
know.
that's still an option.
I've heard it's heating up down there.
Yeah, it's getting hot. I mean, man, it's been a year. So we ended up talking just as friends over the phone and just staying in touch really for a few months. After maybe a month or two, we started getting the idea of doing something about our conversations, and and the Road to Black was born. We just started really just planning everything out and developing it. We were in development for a few months, and it's been fun. We started broadcasting in September? I don't even know.
Yeah.
We're on episode 29. So yeah, it's been, it's been a crazy 2020 going through everything with training. And, we talked about this a little bit earlier before we jumped on, but I'm in an area where most of the gyms are wide open, even the, even the regular physical strength gyms, the mountainside over here, our big gyms here are EOS, Mountainside, what are the other big ones here? I don't even know anymore. Lifetime Fitness, these places, they're all open with no mask requirement. Jiu-jitsu gyms have been open for quite some time, at least 6 to 8 months now, more than that, 8 months, 10 months here in the Valley. So I'm actually in such a mode where I'm used to training and used to being around people and doing this. I'm still kind of set aback when I'm like on social media or something and I'm looking at comments, or like there's places that still have not opened and have been able to train. And it's like, it's one thing if you're somebody that still hasn't come back to training for your own personal reasons, whatever that may be. You don't want to get the COVID or be in contact with people that might have it, or give it to somebody if you might have it. But to I don't know, for the governments or to say that you can't have these places open is just at this point in time, it's just crazy to me. And, I don't know. I saw a comment from somebody in Canada the other day, and people were shocked online, even here in the US. I mean, I think there's still restrictions in some states, and then you could probably speak to some of that.
Yeah, New York, they're opening July 1, I think.
Oh, see, they're crazy, so I don't know. I'm in the opinion that was the worst idea ever, is to turn people's activities off. I mean, that's just ridiculous to me. To approach this type of problem, let's stay healthy. Let's, be smart, but you can't just tell people they can't work out. And that just, to turn off people's health prospects, it makes no absolute sense to me, but we won't get into all that. But I mean, here we are over a year later, it's kind of proven that this thing's going to go around no matter what you do, so you got to give people some personal freedoms. So, I don't know, man. What's it like over there?
Vaccines are so readily available at this point. You know what I mean? It's like if first of all, anyone can, by and large, walk down to a Walgreens, a CVS, a Safeway, whatever, and get a shot, get the vaccine. Yeah. And it's like, well, when
you have the choice to do that now.
You have a choice to do that, and that's your choice. I don't judge one way or another. At this point, it's like, if have so much access to vaccines and we've got a pretty significant amount of our population that's already vaccinated, if you have vaccines and stuff and you still can't open, when are we ever going to be able to, now is the time to open.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
let's go,
Yeah.
Now Canada, I have a client in Canada, and they're still not open.
Yeah, they're pretty strict all around.
They're pretty strict all around up there, and so
even more of that type of government that's just really controlling in that aspect. I mean, it's just different there. It's a different government setup, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
God bless America. I don't know.
I don't know what their vaccine.
I'm glad I live in Arizona.
Yeah,
to be honest,
we snuck down there. Well, we snuck down there a few months ago. We popped into your shop for a quick.
Yeah,
we snuck down there a few months ago, just as kind of a one-off. We each had a couple days we could jet out of town, so we popped down there, and it was pretty much open at that point too, and the numbers are pretty high, but we were like, we're going down there, and honestly, man, things were things were popping off pretty good here, and we went out and we were going to all our favorite spots, and
you're questioning why can't it be like this in Colorado? It seems normal.
Without a doubt. I'm not gonna lie. We were both coming back. Well, one, we were like, man, we miss it. But two, it was like, it's nice to have a little bit of normalcy. It's nice to experience, because we came back and it was like,
it's real nice. How about that? It's real nice.
Yeah,
Let's get back to regular life. It's like, it's wearing on people, and it's not good. It's not good for society. It's not good for mental health. I'm sure my children are being affected by it. I know they are. It's like, imagine growing up in a time like this as a teenager. It's just, it's tough on all of us. It's like, I'm of the type, I'm like, I'll do what's best for everyone. You mask up. We closed our business, almost drove our business into the ground because of that. Just the fact that society shut down hurt our business. People think, hell, you're open, you made it, rah, rah, rah. And it's like, deep down, small businesses are struggling, because what happened was, in our instance, and I'll just share that right here, we took a hit. We basically closed because everything closed. So I don't know if you remember, like when this first broke out in Arizona, like all businesses shut down except for the big bucks. Like that was the expectation. And that was the whole small business versus big business. Why is Walmart get to open, but small businesses can't? We actually stayed open for a couple. We tried to hold out, but there was like 2-week period where there was literally no one coming into our shop. Because even if we were open, no one was going anywhere during that time. This is right at mid-March to April, end of April 2020. So we ended up closing for 2.5 months. And, I don't have to say too much, but small businesses we don't operate where we have there's a ton of money in the bank where we can just keep rolling and not have any income coming in. I think 90-something% of all small businesses have like a month or two in the bank as like a safety net. There's operational costs with all small businesses, and that's basically, it's when you can put in my opinion, and where we were at is like you put in years worth of work to build and build and build, and ultimately you'll get to a point where you can start having more, saving more for the business is making more. But it takes so much time to get there. You have your initial startup costs and investment. You have loans to pay back. For us personally, it really knocked us in the dirt, because even when we opened up finally in June, the summer is normally our busiest time. We just struggled all summer because people just weren't. The gyms were closed. People weren't out doing stuff, and our business is related to people exercising, being active, doing sports. It was all gone. So we struggled all through the summer. People are like, hey, did you get help from the government? And you get help from them, but the help comes in, they do give grants to small businesses, but most of the help comes in the form of a loan. So, you look at these businesses, and I know several of people that I know that are business owners that are in the same situation where they're open, but they had to take some sort of loan out to get by. So now you have these businesses that are in this position where they have loans, they're owing money that they never owed before. And that is just not, when you're a small business, like that affects the entire business and the entire,
the whole future of the business.
The whole future of the business and the whole performance of the business. Literally, we had to start over last summer. So you could take like 4.5 years worth of just momentum building and riding and then starting over. All of our memberships went away. We had to start from scratch. Yeah, some of them came back, but a very small percentage came back still to this time. It's tough. So, that's my rant on this, but I'm just, at this point, I'm like, I'm the person now. It's like, if I don't see a sign right in my face, I'm not wearing a mask in the store, because we will continue to wear masks, because there will not be a government, maybe in Arizona, but there will not be any federal person that says, okay, time to not wear masks. That will not happen. So it's on the people and the businesses. If you're a business and you want to require it, go for it. But the people that pay are going to determine whether they're going to walk in your establishment or not. And I will tell you, there's 99% of my clients did not want me to have a mask mandate for the many months we did last year. Just recently, within the last, when the governor said now it's on businesses here in the valley, which was a couple months ago, maybe, that's when we decided no, we're not requiring it anymore. We're a small business. We don't have a ton of people coming in there. It's all, we can socially distance and do things safe. So, but it's mind-boggling to me still that we're still dealing with a lot of this stuff. It's frustrating because it's not the exact right approach. I'm all for let's have a smarter approach. No one's talking about health. No one's talking about taking vitamins. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you have, your wife is in the field. She knows the type of people that are in the hospital. We've talked about this before. I also know people in this field, and these people are not healthy people. And straight away,
Yeah.
I saw an article today, and this is where social media really, man, it's just really flamed a lot of this. Not social media, the news media in general. You know how it is. I mean, everything's blown out of proportion. It's all slanted. It's all becomes politicized. Everyone knows this. I'm not divulging anything new here, but this article basically said, it was just an article on, how recently, it was talking about wearing masks outside or something. I don't know. They were at a soccer game, and they think the family thinks they got it from that. And come to find out, and this goes for two reasons I'm saying this. They went to the soccer game, and the father got it. They think from coaching the kids or something or whatever. Okay. Comes home, gives it to the mom. The mom gets hospitalized, And here we are again. We're talking about this. Did they get it outside? It could have been anywhere. These people got it, right? The point is this article made a big deal out of this person being relatively healthy, but then I looked into it, and I swear I do this on every one now. If you look in another, maybe the local article that CNN's promoting, maybe that has a picture of the people. Not healthy, okay? Not healthy at all.
Yeah.
So it pisses me off that you can't, and I'm preaching to the choir in terms of a lot of our audience, because all my friends feel the same damn way.
Yeah.
The people that come into ChillFit feel the same damn way. People that actively are exercising and taking care of themselves should be rewarded with personal freedoms, in my opinion. And it's like, it's just, man, it's really been on my nerves lately. And the other thing about that article was both those people were vaccinated, fully vaccinated. Then they got COVID. Then she went to the hospital. Okay. So let's not, I keep hearing people in this whole argument that you're going to be safe when you have the vaccine. No, you're not safe. Like,
you're just not going to die from it.
Yeah. This woman got it and went to the hospital and was hospitalized. Yeah. And that was the whole point of the article. They didn't even mention that. Like, that was just, they went right over. They didn't mention that. They mentioned it was one small thing, that both of them had been fully vaccinated. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that maybe should have been the main thing in the article? Like, no, because that's not what this is about. They're not giving the full information. And I'm not anti-vaxxer, but it's not the answer to everything, especially for healthy people. There's many more people, especially kids, that struggle and die from the flu than COVID. But the kids go to school with flu all the time. Like, we got to be smarter about this stuff. Like, let's work on getting a healthier society, and if that saves people, that's going to save people. It's not, I just hate the false sense of security that these vaccinations give people. These people, this woman was in the hospital and she got fully vaccinated. Yeah. I know people that are going to come out and train, or that are now in society or making decisions based on what they're going to do, based on whether they're going to get a vaccination. And I'm just like, you got to know that doesn't mean that you can't get it, and it doesn't mean that you can't get it and pass it to someone.
Yep.
So why are you worried? It just, you got the people that are worried that, if everyone gets it, then it's going to go away. And it's like, it's so crazy right now. And no one has it figured out. I've listened to a lot of experts, and like everyone's still like,
button heads over it, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You know, in terms of just overall healthcare cost, being healthy, exercising, being within a healthy BMI,
huge. Yeah,
I mean that saves healthcare costs immensely.
They have numbers on that.
No, 100.
They're astronomical.
It's insane.
It's literally like the majority of healthcare costs.
Your utilization of healthcare, medications, every metric that you want to track decreases when you are within a healthy BMI and you're exercising. I mean, it's just in terms of my business, when COVID hit, I was in the middle of a rebrand at the time, and at the same time that I was doing that, I was shifting from nobody's doing jiu-jitsu right now, so my marketing is not, it's loosely jiu-jitsu related, but right now my marketing goal shifts from all jiu-jitsu to let's keep you active and healthy during the shutdown so that you're ready to come back to jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And
it's smart.
It was, and going back to my client in Canada, I'm still doing that. Like, I'm doing that with him. It's like, listen, we're going to get you back training. We're going to get you back training. You're going to be ready. You have, we're going to keep you healthy. We're meeting all these goals. We're doing different things to make sure that he's going to be ready. He's going to be able to be back and train. He's getting 3 strength days. He's getting a couple cardio days. Like, we're just keeping him steady grinding, steady healthy. And, that's what I have kind of, it's a balancing act, it's, and jiu-jitsu I think helps with that, because when, you can't keep trying to pass the impassable guard, right? You got to find another attack. You got to be mobile. You got to be, if your guy's expecting you to knee cut, he's going to defend the knee cut. You got to find another alternative route. It's being flexible with that. I found anyway, being flexible with my marketing and my branding and the
being an entrepreneur. You have
an entrepreneur, and you have to be able to. That is an entrepreneurship. You have to be able to pivot. Like that, and if
it relates a lot to jiu-jitsu.
It really
does. We talk about it so much. It's Gustavo has a whole podcast based around that. Is entrepreneurs in jiu-jitsu, because they're very, very closely intertwined with many people. Especially gym owners. But I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird, so weird to have the government tell you that you can't work out. If you step outside of the current situation and world we live in, that's such a bizarre. It's almost like Orwellian, like some weird. We're so used to this weird state we're in. It's like, I don't know. Like in Canada, they have literally I've heard stories, and even in the U.S., in California, I've heard the same stories where people are calling and snitching people out for having 3-4 people together in a backyard.
I was worried about that with my neighbor. To be quite honest,
so bizarre.
A few months ago, we were having people over, and I was like, for the listeners, I've got a neighbor that is like a hellish neighbor, Karen. And she is just like, she's pretty out there, and I was worried about that. We were having people over, and I was like, man, she's gonna call us. And I have a friend of mine that I was in the military with. He is in a police force just a few towns. He lives here, and then he's in a police force just a couple towns over. And he was telling me that they get people pretty regularly, or in the past, I don't know if they still are, but in the past they were getting people regularly calling in to snitch out their neighbors about people not, they're having people over, people not wearing masks, and they would tell the callers flat out, like, we're not responding to this. We have like actual crime that's happening that we want to have our officers respond to. This is not an appropriate use of the
No.
the police system, of our first responders.
People get this cred, they get this cred from snitching on people or whatever it is. They get, like Rogan talked about that on their podcast, where it's somebody was on there and they're actually telling how psychologically there's people that are just like that, where this is their time to shine. Like, they don't have a purpose other than like to call people out and complain. But I understand, like, I know people like this. They're so locked into that mentality of, this is what we have to do as a unit. We have to, and look, I'm all for Team America, team people. I'll do what I need to do. But when the stats are there, and I'm an analyst by trade. So when the numbers are there and they don't like correlate with what's going on, that's when I start having an issue with. Like, we've had a year of data. Places that are less locked down are in no more dire situation than other places. Does that mean you should take some precautions? You still should take precautions, but how about another approach of getting people healthier?
Yeah.
It's just so sad and sick. It's like the thing going around where you get get vaccinated, you get a free Krispy Kreme donuts or something. Did you see these going around?
No.
Oh yeah. Like, these companies were giving out free. It was bizarre. And it was like, so someone of course made a meme out of it. It's like, if you get a vaccine, you get this. If you don't get a vaccine, you get this. It was like, you get health or something. And if you get a vaccine, you get this. It was like Krispy Kreme, all the companies that were giving out. It was like, I think even one was like a free cigarettes or something, or alcohol, but that's what our society is fueled by, and don't get me wrong. I like Bosa donuts, but I like donuts too. But, you gotta get the big picture here. It's just so many people it's this disease, at least in America. I don't know what for other countries, but in America, it's definitely hitting people that are just less healthy. They have a lot of pre-existing conditions, and we got to be healthier. And those people, you've seen some great stories online and social media, and even in jiu-jitsu, people deciding to do something about that. Maybe I'm too late for this one. Maybe I have to fight through COVID, being overweight or whatever it is, out of shape. But guess what? This might be something that we have to address and figure out a way to move through every so often, every few years. I don't know. I mean, this one's going on 2 years. So COVID itself could last for several years. And in this society, how these things drag out now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 10-year deal, where 10 years will be you know how it is. We'll be out of Iraq in 2006, But you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a very, very plausible possibility, where in 8-10 years, we're still like trying to get beyond this thing. And, there's still people that are getting sick, and there's still people that think there should be more restrictions. And because guess what? SARS, all these other things, they never went away.
Yeah.
They still exist at lesser levels in society, but this one's a weird one, and you look at these other countries and you see that it's affecting them greatly too. But if you see these countries, look at what they are. They're poor countries. They're poor people. They're in dire, it's these like, I shouldn't generalize, but places like Brazil and India, they're in the news lately. The reportings of the hospitals that you see, they're not the nicest places in town.
Yeah.
These are people with, health conditions. These people aren't working out. They might not be grossly overweight, but they're in other ways their health is deteriorated.
Yep.
So we got to be smarter about that and make healthier societies so we can fight these things off. Isn't that the natural way anyway? Is to be able to adapt and, as an organism, fight these things off. I mean, it's just so crazy when it gets so politicized. It's such a point now. I mean, I don't see it too much. If I'm online, I do, but in my regular life, the vast majority of people have the same exact feelings as me. That we have to have we have to have the businesses open. We have to let people make their own personal choices. Mm-hmm. Then you have a choice. Lock yourself in. Go for it. I don't need to 100%. See you for the next 6 months.
I know.
But
that's right.
you can't be telling other people to do that at this point. You just can't because the numbers aren't there. We tried that already, if you got a different approach, we might take it, but the government's not going to do that. They take the peanut butter approach. They just, this is going to work for everyone. Let's try this, So.
Yeah, I was talking, Melissa and I went out for a little bit this weekend. And we were talking, and she was talking to somebody, nobody that anybody on this podcast knows, but he was talking about how long masks are going to hang around. He was like, I wouldn't mind if they are around for a while. I've not been getting the flu, or the flu has hit the shitter, and I've not got a cold or anything, and I'm kind of enjoying all this. And she was like, yeah, but if you think about it in terms of having a strong immune system, don't you want your immune system to be exposed to those things?
Yeah.
Right? Like that, the flu, like, again, people die from the flu.
Yeah.
You and I, not going to die from the flu.
Yeah.
We're going to get a cold. We're going to get a flu. In terms of like an immune response, it sucks.
The next one could be worse. The next flu could hit you worse because you're not. I'm no doctor, but that's how these things work.
Yeah.
The other thing is, we don't have to go to the extreme of a mask in the future. How about let's just wash our fucking hands after we take a piss?
For sure.
Like, have more hygiene in places.
Well, the fomites, yeah. All the crazy cleaning and fomites, it didn't do anything. It didn't help the process. And all the kids that were born into this, we just made an entire generation of germaphobes. Totally. Nice job.
But you could do some of these things like handshakes. Maybe that's why, like, no one's shaking hands anymore. That's probably a big reason why you're not, passing germs and the flu to each other.
Yeah.
That's been said and studied. But I agree with that. Like, I don't like I love my friends and everyone, but give me a fist bump all day if I don't get the flu, right? I don't need to shake every client's hand that comes through the doors. I don't know where your hands have been. I'm personally, in jiu-jitsu, it's a little bit different because you just accept. You're in there. You're accepting shaking hands. Yeah. I'm not saying that, but outside, somebody comes in off the road and wants to shake my hand. I'm like, I'm going to go wash my hands after.
Yeah.
I'm in that. I've always been in that habit. I'm not going to sit there, and I'm just cognizant of that. I don't ever go and eat after that. Like, I always wash my hands, But this has led people to do those other types of things. I know a lot of people that don't do that.
Yeah.
Go to a sports event and go into the bathroom during halftime. You understand what I mean? Like, it's not the cleansing, and that's just one instance,
Yeah.
I've worked in restaurants all my younger years. You don't want me to tell you what I've seen there. Like, people have taken a lot more consideration with hygiene and approach to other people, which is a good thing. Does that mean we have to wear masks forever? No, that's probably not healthy. Okay.
Yeah.
Period. And I'm actually seeing more studies now. At first, you would get the people, the anti-maskers, that would be like, that's totally bad for your health. You're going to be breathing in all this CO2 and it's terrible for you. And you hear them and you're like, it's just and now I've actually seen a couple studies because now they have a year's worth of data. It's actually not good for your health to wear masks all the time. Like, they're testing people and testing their physical response, their breathing capabilities. And it's like, it's a little eye-opening then, it's like, man, it's so, you got to have a nuanced approach. You can't just have, that's what I'm saying here, It makes much more sense to, instead of putting a Band-Aid, a mask on people, teach people how to live a healthy life, and eat the right foods. And that alone, it's been proven, that alone we talked about this already, will help prevent you from being hospitalized for many different ailments, but COVID especially, so, but no, we don't have any leaders that do that. And it's just really disappointing. I don't know. You get a huge health industry in America, a huge health, the biggest in the world, in sports, in health, working out, fitness. There's no place bigger, and we don't have any leadership from that. It's really kind of sad, that visible leadership. I've seen there's people on the local level, even like Tulsi. She was the first presidential candidate or anybody I've ever seen work out on Instagram and like really try to promote health. And, Obama would say stuff, but he'd smoke cigarettes every day. So, it's like, it's weird, It
is kind of.
We should know it is weird. Yeah. We should know this by now, and it costs our economy and our people so much money. It's crazy, but people love junk food.
It is kind of weird. Now that I'm thinking about it, we have a massive health industry. We also have a massive obesity problem.
Totally, the biggest in the world. Yeah, it's such a contrast.
What is going on with that?
It is so weird. There's other countries that you don't see, like you go to a lot of countries. There's no gyms all over. There's gyms everywhere here. Everyone has an opportunity to work out. It's become it's much bigger than it ever has been. I've been working out all my life, and you can just see the amount of people working out is much greater. But also the amount of people being fatter is much greater. Mm-hmm. Like you just said. So it's just like, it's really concerning, and I have relatives in this, I can speak on this because people I love in this boat, and it's really sad. And sometimes you go into a place, a small shop or a store, and everyone is obese. That is a huge societal problem that no one's talking about. In fact, they don't want you to talk about it because it's fat shaming. But yeah. I don't know. It's just disappointing, It's like, so I just try to at least lead by example with my family, and luckily everyone's conscious in my family, my immediate family, my children, my love, and set a good example, because how many 80-year-old really obese people do you see? That's what I tell people. You don't see many. Mm-hmm. They really, you don't see a lot.
Yeah, you really don't.
They don't live that long, and it's concerning because I have people that I love that are getting up there in age, and that's just the facts, So, I want to live. 80 is nothing for me. I want to go beyond that. So, and this shit that comes up, these viruses and stuff, and it just compounds the problem. You can say all you want about vaccines and masks, but part of the problem is that people are not healthy and their immune systems don't fight this off. Period.
Yep.
So. COVID 2021.
Yeah, we're shit. We're May. It's May.
Yeah, I'm just happy we're in a good state where they give personal freedoms.
Yeah.
Places like here in Texas and Florida are really, and people are moving here in droves. The economy's doing really well. There's not enough homes here for people because people want that freedom. It's like we're not asking for anything crazy. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah.
Yeah. I attended a Gustavo Batista seminar this weekend. So speaking of healthy, got a little training in.
Denver?
Yeah, down in Denver. I drove down to Denver to Logos Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been trying to get down there and go to Michael Liera's school. He's got a really, really dope school down there.
Really?
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice school, beautiful school. It's just a single room. One. It's kind of long. It's like a rectangle room. Mm-hmm. Elevated mats with like the springy board underneath it.
Nice.
And yeah, there was probably 50, 60 people there. It was great. It was fantastic.
What did he teach?
So he taught, just a lot of information he threw at us. Really? It was, I took my notebook and we'd take breaks and I would like write everything, just like brain dump status.
How many hours did he do?
It was 2 hours.
Wow. It was 2 hours. Crammed it in there then.
Oh my gosh. And we started with just like a warm up of like, starting from the feet, like one person open guard and one person on the feet, just like hands on your hand, like the person on top's hands on the person on bottom's knees.
Yep.
Doing like windshield wipers back and forth. So you're windshield wipering back and forth. And then we went windshield wiper to a knee cut, windshield wiper to a knee cut, and then going to the other side to a smash or to like a leg, like a smash kind of leg drag. Mm-hmm. And then he went from he went windshield wiper, knee cut, leg drag, and then back stepped around it into the leg drag, but like a smash, like a crush leg drag where you've kind of got the one of the collars and you're really low.
Yep.
And then he went into getting into that same position from lasso, from like a collar sleeve, then from when the person has like a lasso with no grips, so he's like shucks, does like kind of a shuck and gets into it, and then runs the whole system again.
All passing stuff.
And for the first probably hour and a half, all passing. That's a
lot of his game, right?
It's a lot of his game. And then we did a single leg X, we did a bottom single leg X sweep that was like real. He did it's just like a push sweep. I actually want to shoot a video for Gara because I think there's one in there that's like I'd never seen it before, and it was nice. Like it's going to fit right into his single leg X game. So I'm going to shoot that probably tomorrow or this weekend. So just like, yeah, I will. Single leg X. And then he goes from single leg X. He brings his leg back around out of the single leg X, extends the person out again, and then brings the leg back in and dumps him over the top. It was like, anyway, that was just, and it was just a lot of details, man.
Yeah.
It was nothing that I've never seen before, like groundbreaking, but the amount of details. I learned a new sweep, or I learned a new way to pass, like a deep lasso.
Nice.
Which, it's like, I usually just swim that hand out, but he was like, he doesn't worry about the hand at all. He goes way over the top, and then he goes like way, way, way over the top with his like knee holding the other leg, and he like stuffs the leg all the way through to clear the knee line and then comes down.
I know. I've seen that one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. So
I've been looking at a lot of lasso defense stuff. We've been working on that, but did you go by yourself?
Yeah, it was just me.
Did you know
just
anybody
me
there?
I actually did. I ran into a guy. He runs a school probably 15 or 20 minutes away between here and Denver. He's a black belt I think he's a solo black belt. And when I first started up here, I was training at a gym in a town over. He was like a two-stripe blue belt. He was like the assistant there. He kind of taught like some of the kids' classes and stuff.
Okay.
And I was like coming up at white belt, and we kind of parted ways at the same time. So he went to a solo school down in a different place. I think he went from, I don't know if I don't even think he got his purple belt there at the gym up here. I think he went purple, brown, and black there, and then opened another school pretty close by in a town that didn't have any jiu-jitsu in it. Mm-hmm. And now he's kind of known in this northern Colorado region as kind of having some really tough,
that's great,
really tough guys. So I ran into him.
Good lineage.
Really good lineage. I ran into him, and I recognized him right away just because I was a white belt. He was like the guy.
Yeah.
He was like the
blue
guy
belt.
at blue belt. Keep in mind at this time, this is probably 2009. This is probably 2009. So he was kind of the guy he was kind of the guy at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was a black belt. I was a brown belt. He introduced himself to me, and I was like, yeah, I know who you are.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of got reacquainted.
Cool.
And yeah, it was great. He actually invited me down. He was like, I told him what my situation is up here. It's like, I'm kind of just training wherever. I've got a good group of guys I'm training here at my studio, and then I'm doing drop-ins in different places. And he was like, man, you ever want to like catch some different looks? You're always welcome to come down to my place. Just kind of drop in. Told me all about their open mats, what their situation is, and he's like, you're always welcome to come down and drop in, which I thought was really nice.
For sure.
Especially because here in this town, the network is not super open as far as cross training. So the fact that he was like,
it's refreshing.
It's refreshing. He's like, come down. You're always welcome here. Even if you just want to drop in, catch some different looks, catch a class, whatever it is, you're always welcome. I thought I was really happy and refreshed with that. So
yeah, that's cool. It's always good to find some fellow cool people in jiu-jitsu and not, I know you've got some less than stellar characters over there in your town, but we won't mention any names or gyms. But, we've talked about that at nausea just on this podcast about you just got to find the first gym you go to might not always be the best gym or you're the right one for you, So kind of got to shop around, do your homework and find a good spot. And in your case, we've said this before too, you had to pick up and move to Colorado. Well, you tried a couple places out, wasn't vibing for different reasons, set up this training group through downToroll.com, I'm sure. I mean, and just, it's a good option to have until your next change, whatever that might be, see what the future holds.
Yeah, see what the future holds, man. I'm not disappointed in anything that I'm doing right now. I'm super happy. I'm getting good training with my guys. I'm passing on information I'm passing on really good jiu-jitsu to these guys. They're getting good rounds, I feel like. And, I've seen a lot of growth out of them. I've mentioned that before. And, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Like I'm going to try and get down to Arizona here shortly. So I'll come down there. I'm no doubt going to get tuned up a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. So, I'm not disappointed in Eddie at all. And I talked to Michael Liera and he was like, you're always welcome to come down here. We talked about that. So I'm starting to make some connections.
That's great. How many did you get a lot of rolls in during that time at the event?
I got a handful of rolls.
How much time did they leave for that?
Not very much time. It was.
That's what I'm thinking. If it's only a couple hours, yeah.
Yeah, he went the full 2 hours, and after that, it was basically an open mat.
Yeah.
So I got a handful of rounds, and people started kind of peeling out of there, and I was like, okay, well.
Yeah. That's cool.
I'm perfectly happy with my.
Met a couple more people.
Yeah,
like you said, met a couple more connections. Yeah, sounds like a good time. How long's the drive to Denver?
About an hour.
That's not bad.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's you can do it. I'd say it's probably closer to. Yeah, probably about an hour to his place. You can get to downtown in about an hour.
Nice. It's like me driving from my house to Josh Guerra's gym, Refuge BJJ.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
It's in the same valley, but it's all the way across the valley. So that was a good episode, recapping Josh last week. Hope everybody, if you didn't get a chance to tune in, go tune into our buddy Josh Guerra, episode 28. He was dropping some knowledge. Man, the guy's got it put together. For a young man, I am so impressed with him.
What is he, 25? Is that what he said, 25?
Something like that. Crazy. Been teaching for 9 years.
Competing.
Wrap your head around that.
I know.
That was the most mind-blowing thing for me. I'm like, Jesus, no wonder this he's a great coach, man. He's a very engaged, very passionate. And you could just tell in his voice. I mean, the guy knows how to manage a room and talk to people. And I'm glad he's on my side. He's a good friend of mine, and I love the guy. So he knocked it out of the park on that episode. If you guys want to check it out, he talked about, maturity in his students, which in terms of, he talked about I'm probably not going to promote somebody to purple belt if I don't trust them with other training partners or new people. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind. If you're a white and blue belt, you got to come up to some level of competency where your coach can trust that you can also help people, or can, mind your own while you're rolling with someone that's completely raw and new, And really that's just maturity in the belts, you know, and just being able to train all the time like that. You know, you would think, I see it in our classes. It's most everyone gets that and knows that, you know, you have other good leaders in the classes that set a good example, and that's going to happen in many gyms. You know, you see this purple belt that, you know, you're a white belt, you just got your blue belt. You've been training with this person a couple of years. You see they're a purple belt. You see how they hold themselves, how they carry themselves. It's a whole different thing, you know, and how they take care of other people and consider other people on the mat, you know. So not everybody's, obviously, not everyone's like that. You know, you got assholes and jerks you can't trust all the way up to black belt, to be honest.
Yep,
I mean, there's personalities across the board, but his point is he has the option. He is the promoter. He is the gym owner in the school in the black belt. So under his guidance, he expects his people to be able to have that level of maturity where they're just not, you know, a 250-pound dude just smashing some small guy or gal, you know, that's inexperienced, you know. Great points, you know. I mean, the guy's got it together. He's got a successful school that's about to expand, which is amazing, you know. 3 years in, expanding. That says a lot about Josh, okay, and his wife and the team they put together. 100%. Like, that is what that is. You know, people are drawn to people like that are engaged, that are welcoming. I know they're very much like that, and they treat that school like a family. So I couldn't be more happier for the guy. So everyone go check out that episode. If you're in the far north, is that Northwest Valley? If you're going up north to Flagstaff or Sedona, drop into Josh's school, because it's like halfway there. If you're in the valley here, if you know where Anthem is, it's out towards out by Anthem. He's got a beautiful facility. He'd always welcome people to drop in, as you heard him say himself. So if you're local here and you're training, reach out to Josh, man. If you want to get a different look, or you're looking for a place to train, you're from out of town, check out Josh's gym, Refuge BJJ. He was good.
Yeah, that was a great episode, man. I got a bunch of text messages just from independent people, you know.
We got some really good feedback, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I got some great feedback from that episode, and we want to keep having great guests on like that are going to give, they're going to just drop lots of knowledge. We've had 2 really great guests. Nick dropped a lot of good knowledge on us too, especially about strength training and you know, how to habit stacking and high performance habits. I mean, those 2 guys alone right there, you could take those 2 episodes and you could
we got some got some high performing friends.
Yeah, it's so I mean, we're you know, if we want to keep for the listeners, we want to keep having more episodes like that. So we're pretty fired up about our last 2 guests, and
for now, you just have to listen to us until the next one. So bear with us. We're just a couple of brown belts here on the road to black. But we appreciate everyone listening. Do us a favor. Go subscribe, review us. We don't really have any reviews. So if you find yourself listening, go review us. I mean, we've got some comments and great stuff personally. You know, we got several DMs. Each of us have gotten some good feedback. But if it's just a hangout, you know, so we're just talking jiu-jitsu, centered a lot around our experiences here, both in Arizona and Colorado now. So check us out, go review it. And we're on YouTube now. Well, we have been for a while, but you could subscribe there. But I don't know. Wes has been putting all these clips together. I have to give this guy credit. I love the clips myself. I'm like, did he say that in the clip or in the podcast? Because you go through the conversation, and it's a great conversation. But those clips, especially with Josh, you know, and Nick, when you can capture these guys, you know, it's not just me and you talking. It's getting this other third point perspective in there. They've been really great. So I want to thank you for putting those together online and social media. They're huge. And we're just trying to spread the message of positivity in jiu-jitsu, and and talking about things that not a lot of other people are talking about, and that's just the regular guy.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of focus on some podcasts and just in the media in general and in jiu-jitsu. And I understand most people gravitate towards the top. This is the bigger names. These are the bigger people. This is what's happening on the competition scene. But the reality is the majority of practitioners are like us. We're just
absolutely
training and trying to we have this hobby or this passion that we're super into, and we want to talk about it and share it with each other. And you guys as listeners, you guys are part of that. So feel free to chime in. We geek out on your comments and stuff, and it's really, we put a lot of effort and work into this. We do this every week. There's a whole production behind it. So if you have any suggestions, we take those too. We've had suggestions where we've literally taken the suggestion and made a podcast episode out of it in the same day. So it can happen. And it was one of our, better ones, because other people get ideas of things we can talk about, and, we're open to it. So
yeah, send us messages, guys. We love it.
Yep. Anything else, Wes?
I got nothing, man. I'm gonna train this week and fired up. I'm gonna be putting into practice some of the stuff I got from the seminar this week. So I'm pumped.